Back, everybody, to the League of Inches podcast. It's a Tuesday night. That means me and Jesse stay up very late to talk to you about Team List Tuesday and any Supercoach chat that we can think of. So really excited to look into this one. There's some big names back, a couple of injury blows, etc. A bit of Supercoach news as well. Obviously, the Tradies show will be back tomorrow night as well. No Origin to play around with that one. That knocked us a bit last week. Jesse forgot about a thing called Origin at one stage and was thinking, why aren't we doing the Tradies show? What's going on here? But here we are. We're able to get stuck into it. Straight off the bat, we'll go on about how we went on the weekend. Not great for either of us. I finally got a little win over Jesse in terms of total points. I think the first one in about 5 weeks. So I'm going to take it. I'm just going to be gloating about it. He's currently about 16,000 spots ahead of me, but I don't care. I'll beat him. So my round 14 score, 1,071. Top 20% score. Not great, not the worst, and obviously out there either. So I was lucky. I was surprised I got over the 1,000 mark, but I'll take it. That was with a Scott Drinkwater captaincy as well. So, geez, that was a bit disappointing. A season ranking at the moment is 19,879. So, not good. Not good. Starting to make some big plays now. That's what it's about. We're just going to go down this sinking ship. I don't mind. Jesse?
Yep. Yeah, it wasn't a great week either. I didn't have any of those big guns, the big wingers that scored, 150, 170 points. It was just sad watching everyone go massive, and my team sort of shitted a little bit. But I scored 1,050. So I was expecting red arrows. I got them. It's been the first week in a little while, actually. I've seen a red, which kind of sucks. But I'm ranked 3,523. So dropped 845. Could have been worse, I suppose, in looking at it, but still not too bad of a season rank. But yeah, I don't know. All it takes is one bad round after consecutive good rounds to look at your side and think, "Fuck, it's terrible." I just want to wholesale change it, and it's actually been pretty good for a little while. So, yeah, a few outs, but we'll touch on all them during the team list anyway. But yeah, still waiting to see what I'll do this week.
Yeah. And talking about that, let's get straight into it, guys. We smashed through it last week for you. We're going to try and do the same thing this week. There is obviously a lot more games. It's a full week this week leading into Origin. So a lot of big players wanting to put their best foot forward with a few Origin jerseys up for grabs. So for the Thursday game, the Cronulla Sharks versus the Dolphins. PointsBet Stadiums for the Sharkies. Nico Hines is back for the halfback spot. Returns from being rested last week. A bit of pressure on him. It's fair to say to keep that Blues jersey, so he'll be looking to put his best foot forward. The Dolphins have been a decent team. They're in the top 6, I think, at the moment. So been doing some good things. It's not going to be an easy win. So it'll be a game that Nico really has to shine in, I feel like. Braden Trindle will partner him in the halves after winning that 6 jersey back. I thought he was pretty good on the weekend, probably their best actually. So very, very good performance by Braden Trindle and gets that jersey back. Controversial. I know there's a few people that still believe he shouldn't be playing at the moment, but that is what it is. Atkinson goes to the reserve, so he doesn't even make the team anymore. So if you had him, probably time to look at May getting off. You might get in a couple of weeks if Hines can get that Origin spot, but see what happens. And Braden Hamlin-Ueli returns to the lineup on the bench with Taku Hautapua dropping out. So that's a couple of changes there for the Sharkies. For the Dolphins, Hammer returns from Origin duties, so Fuller back to the reserves. Cody Nikorima is also back, replacing Anthony Milford at 5'8". Jesse Bromwich is nursing a rib injury, so his brother replaces him at prop, Kenny, and then Felice Kafusi will also start up front after being rested last week post-Origin. Mark Nichols reverts to the bench. So Felice Kafusi, the big prop now. So he's doing some middle time, but that's for the battle of the beaches, I guess. Battle of the fish. Don't know what we want to call this, but battle of the big fish.
That's it. Dolphins always take the Sharks out in nature, but yeah, it might be a different story. We'll see. But yeah, no, Hines is back is a big one. He does need to really pull his stocks up after the Origin showing too. And yeah, it's a bit
What's
tricky
that
with him,
BE
isn't
again?
it? it's like 208 or something. It's something that's ridiculous. Um, yeah, I don't know. I'm a little bit on the fence with Hines, to be fair. I'm not sure what to do with him just yet. I don't really feel like it's reasonable trading him considering he's named and everything else. But he's got Origin to sort of lift him. But he's got Trindle now again, and I much preferred Atkinson with him. So yeah, I don't know. You're definitely going to lose money, potentially 100K this week. Do you just get off now, ride him out, hope he gets selected for Origin, and then you can, sort of justify the drop? But I just don't think it's. I don't know. I'm so on the fence. I just can't do it myself, really. But yeah. Besides that, the side looks as you'd expect. Talakai in the second row again. Um, Starting to really look like a good option too. He's about 380K, dual center. Had an absolute blinder too last week. So if you can hold that, his break even's obviously really, really low. He's very cheap, like below what I would consider his bottom dollar. Um, Even still, even if he does go back to the bench at that price, I kind of like it, to be fair. Like if he was a bit dearer, I'd probably stay away from it. But for now, with Wilton out indefinitely as well, I think Talakai is really good. And then Hazleton's to the bench too. I thought I'd touch on that because Toby Rudolph is back. So bit of a shame for Hazleton. He's been scoring tries every week, so it just depends on how they use him now. But yeah, for the Finns, Nikarima back in the side spells pretty good things for Zarko. They had a good little pair up, so I'm hoping to see some better things out of him because he's been pretty quiet of late. And that's kind of it really. Plath and Aitken continue to be great, but yeah, the Finns will just do Finns things. I think nothing
Yeah.
really changes.
Yeah, I agree. Friday, first of the Friday games, the Canberra Raiders versus the North Queensland Cowboys down in the nation's capital. For the Raiders, fresh off a bye, Ricky Stewart's only made two changes to the side that did defeat the Dolphins back in round 13. That feels like a lifetime ago now. That incredible victory they pulled off. Hudson Young returns from Origin duties, which pushes Mariota back to the bench. And Josh Papali'i has been named to start, but could be switched to the bench for Emre Gula before kickoff, like what happened with the Dolphins. For the Cowboys, Reece Robson and Tuolangi both return after sitting out last weekend's game. Harrison Edwards and Braden Burns are the ones to drop to the reserves. Jordan McLean is a handy return after up front after overcoming calf tightness. Griffin Neem goes back to the bench. Nanai is back onto the second row position as well. And Jason Tamlolo gets a start at lock. So he's actually been named in that 13 jersey, which I thought that time was over with Jason. The reports coming out, but here we go. So, yeah, a couple of changes there. I'm intrigued
Hmm.
about this game.
Yeah, a little bit too. I'm a little bit. I just don't know what the Cowboys need to do anymore to
Yeah,
get themselves a win. Really, like you can't really pick them. They on paper they've got a hell of a side, and they expect to win most games, but they just can't seem to string anything together. It's a bit of a shame. So, going to Canberra against the Raiders, especially for the Cows, that's a hell of a trip. It's going to be a very hard game for them. I reckon the Raiders come away with this one. It's just they're just more gutsy, they just have a bit more in the tank than the Cows seem to have at the moment. So, um, nothing too out of the ordinary for the Raiders side either. It looks like it does every single week. Um, I'm keen to see how Tarpany goes. I'm pretty keen on Tarpany from this point forward. I think to as like a set and forget FRF now. So don't mind his price, like early 600s. Comes in pretty good, and he's always really solid. So but there's a few names in that side that have actually been going quite well. But yeah, for the Cows, man, it's star-studded, and they just can't get it right. So um, don't really know if there's too much else to really touch on. They only got two guys back this week. JT back at lock. We'll see how many minutes he gets. He's been pretty good lately too. He's
yeah.
um he's been putting up some really good numbers, like almost JT of old kind of stuff. So hopefully, hopefully Peyton's been listening. Seems like he has. He's had
Don't
enough.
tempt me. Don't tempt me. Do not tempt me because
Yeah,
yeah,
go
I've
with it.
noticed that the scores are starting to become.
They're
Oh,
getting
okay.
pretty good.
Let's
Yeah.
start to talk.
Eye catching a little bit.
Yes.
Cotter in the 10. I don't know what that really does for Cotter as an owner. A little bit. How you going? I'm
Yeah.
almost half looking at moving Cotter on soon anyway. I think he's had his time for me, but Whether that's a drop to Tamalolo or not, I doubt it, but I'll humour the idea at least. Um,
Content. Think of the content.
oh, it would be so worth it. I'd just do it to have him in the side. Who cares about
Yeah.
it? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's too much more in that game. So the next one, the Friday game, which is all of a sudden become a pretty good one. South Sydney versus the Brisbane Broncos, the 8 p.m. Friday night prime time slot. So you've got only the one change for South Sydney side that just wiped the Titans off the field just last week. And it's a big one. Cam Murray returns on the bench, which pushes Saliva Havili out of the side. Huge return for Cam Murray. I'm not sure what that will mean for the likes of, say, Keon Matangi playing that 13 role that he has been the last couple of weeks. He's been doing a pretty good job at that as well. I anticipate he'll go back to the edge once Cam Murray comes on, probably after that 20-25-minute period. They'll ease him back into the game once that sort of tough period, probably once Payne Haas actually goes off, so he doesn't have to tackle him for about 20-25 minutes. For the Broncos, Tristan Saylor retains his spot at fullback. Reece Walsh has been forced to sit out this game with that 11-day concussion stand down, so he won't have a game before Origin 2, but I'm pretty sure he'll be selected. Corey Oates has been named despite picking up a minor knee injury, and Xavier Willison returns via the bench after missing last week for the birth of his child. So shout out to you, Xavier. Well done. Hope everything is all good there. Very great moment, very special moment. Remember that me about, what, I don't know, 10 months ago now. So, and Fletcher Baker is the man to make way for Xavier. What are we going to talk about here?
We were kind of
Let's see.
talking about this a little off air about the Rabbits' prospects, moving forward pretty much from the last 2 weeks onwards. So I'm sort of in the mind frame that they're on the up. You know what I mean? Like they were so low for so long. They're actually starting to look pretty good. Latrell seems like he wants, I don't know, whether it's an Origin jersey back or if he just wanted to prove a point to the doubters, because there's a ton of them. Had a good game, put himself in positions where he normally wouldn't be there, making runs, support runs on the way through. You're thinking, holy shit, that's actually a Latrell running. How unusual. So, um, so yeah, I don't know. They're starting to, look like a side that want to win a game. So, it's just a
That's
tricky
fair.
one too, because they could just shit the bed so fast again. Don't really want to put my eggs in the Rabbits basket, but there's a few players that you can't really ignore.
I'm going to
I do.
ask you this question because everyone knows by now in this podcast who listens to this, your relationship with this player. It's
Yep.
not good, but there is a huge temptation out there at the moment regarding this player, Cody Walker. What are your thoughts? I know your history with him,
Oh,
but you're in a position at the moment where you're still in with a rough shot of doing something in this season Supercoach. So you can't think necessarily with your heart. You got to think with your head. Let's
yeah.
see what happens here.
With Cody Walker, he's about 600k. He's just 5'8". He's owned by 3% of teams, so not many at all. Obviously, his break even is -5 because of those last two games. He's turned up twice, like consecutively now as well. So, um, all signs point to Cody. With the news that Galvin's out now, for how long, I don't know, really. He's got a hand injury. Apparently, it's fractured. It's causing some waves with the Tigers. They might not even play him again. So, there's kind of an easy spot there to just plug him in, and there's only about 40k difference between the two of them. And normally you look at the beginning of the season, you think Cody Walker, traditionally second or third best 5'8" in the game towards the end of the season every single year, to this Galvin kid who's just starting out of nowhere, and their prices are almost par. Rabbits on the up, negative break even. It just makes sense, but God, I just don't like it. I don't like it, and I'll tell someone like, you got to leave the last season behind you. You know what I mean? You have to look forward. It's just he's just that player that will just fry me so often. I know I'll get him in and he'll score 20. You're like, oh, he hasn't done it this season, but it'll be the week to do it is the week I get him. So um, he is on the radar. I'm pretty vocal about the fact that I'll never humour the idea of getting him in my side, but when situations arise, I suppose I got Reece Walsh. I don't like having Reece Walsh in the side, but his price was too appealing. His draw was decent. Made a little bit of coin out of him. It could be the same thing with Walker. Their run is okay. I think I'll just quickly look at it. They play 15-16. They miss 17, which at the moment, I think for most sides too, even not just my own, round 17 looks very easy to cover. Providing backups from Origin, but even still without them, it's pretty easy. There's quite a lot of teams in there. So they play the Broncos and then they play Manly and then they're off. So I don't know. They're not the easiest games in the world.
Manly,
But
we
they're
know
both
Cherry Evans.
yeah, they're both home games. So yeah, no Cherry Evans, no
No
Jake Turbo.
Gerbo.
Exactly, yeah. So there's a couple of outs for him. But then again, like I would be
No
expecting
Brooksy.
yeah, what for Blues? I would be
He's
expecting
his
Latrell
chance.
to get selected, and I don't like the side without him. Because I don't know where Jai Gray is at the moment. I don't know how relevant he's going to be anyway. So yeah, it's you kind of take the punt. The team depend on Latrell in a way to get their momentum, and I just think he's been too good recently to not get picked up, especially with Suaalii dropping out of it. So that could kind of hinder my decision a little bit. But I think yeah, the vast majority of people that don't have him are kind of getting him in this week anyway. So I can't knock the trade for the first time ever. I can't knock a Cody Walker trade in, but I don't know if I'll do it myself.
I did it for
Uh,
about 20 minutes today, and then I just could not leave myself
couldn't
to do it.
couldn't
So
bear the sight. Yeah, well, if he scores you 100, then it's not the worst. But
you've scarred me. I'll say
yeah,
that you have scarred me. You've put your scars onto me now. We've done this for so long, enough now. I feel like I'm wearing some of your pain.
yeah. Well, you drafted him, so you have to deal with him every week,
I'm
and
loving it.
you are now. I remember very early in the season, you were trying to offload him for Trindle or someone. You were just trying to get rid of him. So yeah, you'll have those moments with Cody, unfortunately. But yeah, outside of that, there's not too many other players I'm super interested in. Um, Possibly Cameron Murray towards the
Yeah,
later end of the season now, when things kind of settle a little bit price wise, and once he's had a bit more minutes under him. But yeah, besides
Cotter
that,
to
it's
Murray.
kind of it. Cotter to Murray, that could be a good move. I'd like that move, but again, Murray walks into a Blues jersey as well, so
I was gonna
he's
say I'm going to make a bold prediction. I'm going to make a huge bold prediction. If Murray gets through 60 minutes this week and he actually looks like Cameron Murray, I will not be shocked if he's in a 17 for game 2.
if
Oh,
he kills it this week, he starts for game 2.
he's what we miss. I think he is. I would rate
Yeah,
him above Yo at Origin level. I know that's
yeah,
people will shoot me down for it, but I think he's
no.
much more important to the Blues side.
I would say you're probably best off dropping out Yo, putting McInnes on the bench, starting Murray.
Yeah,
Why wouldn't you?
I don't mind
Proven,
it.
he's done it. So yeah,
Put us in
um,
selectors.
that's it. Pay attention, Madge. What are you doing, mate? Um, I also don't understand how in a game the Rabbits dominated and scored so many points, how Alex Johnston stayed so quiet,
Mm.
completely out of the game, not even remotely involved. He ended on like 9 or 7 points or something. It was a painful hold. Like I've got him in 2 drafts. Cooked me. Cooked
I
me.
think I've got a train of thought about this.
It's
You
Walker
know
on
what
the
I
right.
reckon it might be though? I feel like they've been a very big brother sort of club in regards to getting Alex Johnson to this record. And we've always noticed how much they go to that side. Like it's just been their side. And that was when JD, Jason Demetrio was there and probably from all reports, probably ran that boys club a bit as well and didn't have much of a say into stopping some of those senior figures at the team. And maybe Hornby's come along and gone, boys, I'm sorry, but we've got to cut this. We've got to become a team that's not just left side dominant. We've got to make sure
Yeah.
we mix things up. And they're now doing that. And now we're seeing that they can attack all over the park. They've got attack.
Yeah, well, they're very predictable, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
everyone knows the rabbit's left edge is their strongest edge. It's not even remotely a secret, like, it's pretty obvious, and especially with Campbell Graham out for as long as he has been, the attention is the left. Whether moving Cody over to the right-hand side's changed too much of it. Kalamatangi's not on the other side now either, so, yeah, like, they've definitely evened out their attack, and they've spread it from end to end now, and it's a lot more obvious, and they're doing a lot better for it too. Like,
yeah,
it's improved them pretty drastically. So yeah, there's that, but you'd still expect a try scorer like him to bag at least a try or a line break or just anything. Just
yeah.
take a run. But no, nothing at all. So I think we spent too much time on the rabbits, to be honest with you.
I was gonna say we've spent a lot of time on this
Yeah,
game.
a little. Yeah, we have. To be fair, we blitzed past the other one. For the Broncos, no Reese Walsh, Tristan Saylor. Yeah, not a fan. He hadn't really lit up anything too much on his side, but the side is strong enough without him, to be fair. Like, there's a lot of players, even still, like, no Reece Walsh, no Adam Reynolds, they still look good. Um,
Mm,
I think it would be a test for him, especially coming off last week, but I think they've got enough in them. But, yeah, no, good backup too for these guys from Origin as well. Carrigan, Haas, they did quite well. So,
yeah.
yeah,
I
quickly touch
agree.
on them.
Saturday games, let's get into them. The first one, absolute cracker. Can't wait to watch this game. 3 p.m. Leichhardt Oval. The Tigers up against the Titans. It is just a rugby league lover's dream. Sorry to those fan bases, but seriously, it could be a game where we just refresh mentally and just go, I might just sit this one out. I might
Mm,
just chill out for this one and take the family out for a few hours and get in the good books before I sit down. For the Tigers, good news, really great news seeing this. Adam Duahi is on the reserves, so he's not too far away apparently. Really keen to see what he has. Obviously, that massive injury that he did have coming back from the knee reconstruction. Good to see him coming back. I do believe at the moment it looks certain he'll be in New South Wales Cup this week, but yeah, it's the way the Tigers are going. They need him so a lot, very, very quickly in this NRL team.
yeah,
Api Coruscant will wear the number 7 alongside Aiden Caesar. Both Galvin and Sullivan are sidelined due to hand and finger fractures, and also Lockie Galvin's parents have pulled him out of the team. But we allegedly, we're just joking. It's all allegedly, by the way. Shout out, Mr. and Mrs. Galvin. Just remember it's the NRL. Just be careful what you say and do. Charlie Staines is also shifts to the wing in replace of Alamalo, who has been sidelined due to a head knock. Brett Naden just continues to make this team. I feel sorry
look at
for
it.
your Tigers
Look at the side though.
in that sentence. Oh goodness me! I, I have to laugh at this matchup because it's so hard to look at this team and not do anything else than laugh. Like you'd cry. You'd actually look at this if you're a supporter and you'd cry. What
Yeah,
is this? Oh, for
they've
the
their
Titans,
stocks they've run so thin. You can't blame them. They got nothing left.
you look at
Yeah,
some of the guys on the reserves, and you're just like, what? They've actually hang on a second in their team list. They've got Dream Buller
I know.
in fullback
21.
and on the reserves, Dream Buller. I think they're struggling that much. They've got to name him twice. So
Yeah, they can't fill their reserves.
Tigers are doing that badly. Goodness me, that's a post. I'll be doing that after this. For the Titans, Sami returns from the hamstring injury, goes on to into the centres, I believe, with Bo Firma. That's great news for Bo Firma holders like myself who just had to deal with other stuff. But he's actually been scoring all right still on
Yeah.
at centre, so it hasn't been that bad. But he goes back to the edge, which is great news. Keenan Palacia moving back to the bench, Cleese Haas at lock, and Jacob Aleek makes way from the 17 onto the extended bench. So I don't even know where to go. Jesse, I've had enough
Mm,
of this game. You can
yeah.
talk about what you want.
There's not much happening for the Tigers right now. Um, to be fair, when Dewey's back, they'll have about 7 options at half. but unfortunately they don't have anything else anywhere, so it's a bit rough for him. But yeah, I don't really know where to go with it. Samuel Afinu, I traded him in last week just to get a Tigers dual player for the next 20 weeks. So, nothing too deep on that side, but yeah, I don't like it. I don't like anyone here. It's just not friendly to look at. But for the
Oh,
Titans,
shit.
I am a proud new David Fafita owner, and I'm very, very hopeful this week about something massive. So, could be a straight C on this one, to be fair. I feel like he could do
Talk
bits.
dirty to me.
Yeah, could be a big one. Also, Jaden Campbell keeps the 5'8" jersey. I watched that game. It was one of the only games last week that I did get a chance to watch. Um, he just completely cuts Fafita out constantly. Constantly. Every time he ran the ball, which was almost every other set too. Like, he was so involved. And to be fair, like, if I'm trading him in, I want him to be that involved. Just pass it to Fafita, for God's sake. What are you doing?
Yeah, try assist.
Yeah,
Pause.
just like, it was just straight cut out. I suppose at the same time, Fafita didn't look eager for any ball anyway. So, um, you must have heard that I traded him in, and he wasn't trying to impress Billy. So, thanks for not fighting for a Maroons jersey, considering he knew he wasn't going to get one. But yeah, kept going straight to Kelly every single time. So, as a draft Kelly owner, wasn't hating it. So many conflicts. Got all these players all over the place. It's
That
hard to
that
death ride anyone.
as weird as it is to say, that win for the Maroons on Wednesday night was probably the worst thing that could happen to us for feeder owners, because it just solidified the fact that he won't be there for Origin, which should be a good thing, but it probably took the fire out of his belly a little bit, because he's probably realized that and gone, well, that's me done for this year. Any chance of playing for the Maroons? So
Yeah,
anyway, we will.
I know. Kind of ride it out too, but like, again, if he was selected, we lose him 3 out of the next 5,
Yeah,
4 out of the next 5 weeks. So definitely not worth it. But I'm glad he wasn't. So yeah, he looks good. Bo Fermor can probably retain that second row spot now. He doesn't have to move back to the centers because Sami's back. But yeah, no, there's a couple options. Keeney too still keeps going. So whether or not he ever drops out and Campbell goes to fullback, either way, I still think Campbell's a nice buy. 450k, half decent break even. It's not super low, but he can definitely hit it. Can't knock it. He's the most appealing one at the moment, for this team. So let's move to the next game. This one's hurting my eyes.
yeah, I agree. Next one, we promised we'll try to get through this quickly, but we've failed so far. Let's try and pick this
We
up.
are. We'll get there.
Warriors versus the Storm, over at Go Media Stadium. Pretty keen for this one. The Warriors have turned the corner, looking like they're playing some really good football, and the Storm are just the Storm. So we're just expecting them to turn up and put in a good performance at the moment. For the Warriors, huge addition. Sean Johnson returns in the halves and pushing Tamari Martin to 5'8". I know a lot of super coaches are a little bit worried about him playing 5'8", but still has a little bit of cash to grab, and been playing very, very well the last couple of weeks. That pushes Chanel Harris-Tavita back to the bench. Freddie Lussick dropping off the bench as well. Roger Tuivasa-Sheck has also been named in the extended reserves, but apparently it's unlikely he'll play this week, more so looking at next week. So good news, though, for RTS and anyone who's for some reason kept him. I don't know why you kept him, but if you have, you got one more week to wait. Well done. Good patience. Good patience gain there. For the Storm, only one change. Remus Smith has been sold on with a head knock, being replaced by Dean Eremiah. Talk to us, because I think the big one is obviously Johnson back for the Warriors, and what that
Yeah.
means for Murray Martin.
Yeah, so it's massive inclusion for the Warriors to get Johnson back. As far as it goes, like, Tamari Martin has been doing incredibly in his absence, like really, really good stuff. And to be fair, I don't really see him taking as much of a back seat as expected. You know what I mean? Like, SJ's been out for a little while now. Tamari Martin's running pretty hot. So whether or not, they kind of spread the load a little bit, I don't think he's going to drop right back down to, like, 2018 Tamari Martin numbers, like scoring 15 points in a week. Like, it's just, I think he's been too good lately to kind of avoid it. And regardless, even if he scores bad, his break even is so friggin' low, and the amount of money you would have made off him if you got on early enough, you kind of just take this week and just see how the dust settles. But yeah, SJ's break even super high, like ridiculous. It's not going to happen for him. I'd probably want to wait a week against this one, especially against the Storm too. But yeah, I am semi tempted to humor SJ trade in the next couple of weeks, but it just depends on how things balance out. So yeah, big talking points in the halves there for both of them. Shans is doing really well at fullback, scoring big numbers again. Put up another 100 last week, so definitely big on my radar. Fanua Blake keeps scoring tries too, so it's the same friggin' broken record stuff with both of them. Scoring good and scoring tries, like you can't stop him. So, but again, even with his massive score, his break even is still like 100. So you get him in, he's going to be quite dear. He's 720 odd, but I think with the amount of players that we can move around, like it's not too bad if you don't have him. Neither of us do. So keen in a way. But for Melbourne, Falongo keeps his position again. Perhaps not too far away. So it could be short lived. But at the same time, depending on how long Warbrick's out, I expect Falongo to just move to the wing. So we might still be able to run with him for quite a while longer. Wishart and Jerome Hughes put on a clinic, scoring 200 almost 240 points between the two of them. So massive. Jerome Hughes was a good trade in. I think you got on him last week.
Yeah, I did. I'm disappointed because we spoke about Wishart like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
and I wish I did it, but at the same time, I went Cole, and Cole hasn't been a bad option either. So
yeah, exactly. Well, that's the thing. Like, sort of brought up both of them at their
yeah,
bottom dollar, and I didn't get either of them. I just rode with what I had. I
you
got
don't get
Brown and Galvin.
Supercoach.
No, don't need to. I had Brown and Galvin, and I just thought, you know what? Like, they're great options. They look like great trade-ins at the time. I had no reason to. Now, with the news of Galvin, I'd like to be able to get myself a 300k Tyrone Wishart, but I think at the moment it's just you just take it for what it is. I don't know how long Munster's going to be gone for, and I think Wishart he's definitely a longer term play more than Cole would be. I think Munster's going to be out longer than Cleary is overall. And yeah, for that, I'd probably take Wishart over Cole personally at the moment. But again, if you got either, like you had Cole early, you're laughing. Outside of that, forwards, Harry Grant, they all look solid. Eli Katoa is still a fantastic buy. I think any of them, really, bar the props, are going to be a good pickup. So, yeah, solid side. They always seem to do well, regardless. But Nick Meaney's one that kind of flew under the radar a little bit. He's sort of just been plodding along, scoring bits and pieces. He was never really cheap to begin with, so I think that kind of deterred a lot. But he's just secretly putting mad numbers up. I suppose kicking goals for Melbourne's always going to help, considering how many tries they score. So few good options, but nice run from here. I still think, yeah, the halves are the best looking out of the two teams. Both sides, both their halves look great. So
I agree. Next Saturday game is the sorry,
come on,
bloody, I don't know what happened now. Just zonked out. The
broken out.
Parramatta Eels. It is late, guys. I'm very, very tired, but I'm pushing on. Parramatta Eels versus the Sydney Roosters. Can't wait to watch this one as a Parramatta diehard. Going to be embarrassed at home how good. Jermaine Hopgood has been named at lock despite being in quite some doubt with some nerve problem in his back. I'll say it now. I don't think he'll play. I think Joe Hopper-Hengao will go to the lock position. And either Greg or Moretti or maybe Madison will go on to the bench, depending on how sick Ryan Madison is. Marcus Sevo is set to return after being late scratching. Where McGregor has been dropped, while utility Dejan Arce has been named on the bench after starting in the centres on Monday, yesterday. And that seems like a lifetime ago for us
It
Pyro
does.
fans. That's weird. The Roosters, Connor Watson returns to the lineup after missing a few weeks with a throat injury, and he'll start at hooker, which means Brandon Smith has been dropped. He's not even on the bench. He's gone. After being issued with a breach notice from the Roosters over the weekend for missing a team meeting. Now, if you listen to the speculation around at the moment, all the journos and the like are talking, there could be more to this story. We don't know yet. We can't confirm or deny anything, but just watch that space. the Roosters move on things quickly when they're not happy. I'll just say that much. The Roosters Origin stars, they're all return after missing their round 13 clash against the Cowboys. Yeah. So, what do you make of this one, Jesse? I know you're disappointed with Brandon Smith first on a Roosters front. I know you're a Roosters fan.
Yeah.
What do you make of this?
To be fair, from a team point of view, I much prefer Connor Watson at hooker. I think he offers so much more. Um, Obviously, you never want to see any of your players getting dropped for disciplinary stuff. I don't even know the specifics to it, but there's got to be more to it than just that. It's been a little while now, and he's things. You hear stuff about him here and there, but again, nothing concrete. So I don't know. It's just
A
I
lot of
don't
whispers.
expect him. Yeah, too many. I just don't expect him to be there too much longer. To be honest, I think with the way Watson's going, with the way Sand and Smith can play as well, like there's definitely other players they've got there. And Brandon Smith has not lit the world on fire for the Roosters more than maybe 3 weeks in his entire time he's been there. So it's not the end of the world realistically. So um, looking at the Roosters side though, god damn they look good. Any which way, like any way you look at them, you look at the bench, you look at the team they can put out, and you're like, far out. This is a hell of a side. Um, Nat Butcher on the bench, they're sticking with Radley in the second row. White keeps the lock spot, so that was one from a few weeks ago that looked half appealing, but the security was never there for it, so he's still got it. Tedesco, I expect to not get selected from this point going forward with Edwards looking fit. So I think he's another buy for this run too. Same as Manu, same as Dom Young, same as Sam Walker. I think you can just get half the Roosters team in, and you pretty much can now too. Like they've had their round bye, the tricky one anyway, the one that we like to worry about. So I think it's time to stock up on Roosters if you can afford it. Personally, I think they look good for it. And then for the Eels, Jesus, how unlucky! Just crumbled right at the end. Fell at the
Not
last
unlucky,
hurdle.
just shit.
Yeah, well, there's that. I didn't want to say it. I'll let you say it.
No luck, just putrid, just
uh,
embarrassing.
yeah, just can't do much else, can they? It's just disappointing. But
Yeah.
yeah, no Lussick this week
Oh, thank Christ.
for now.
Thank Christ.
For now. Um, Sivo's back though. How's that?
Yeah.
Celebrations. You know what? Sivo's been
Oh,
banging tries, man. Admittedly, any winger that gets the ball that he does when he goes over can score the same try, so can't really dig too far into it. But yeah, I thought Blaze Talongi did okay on the wing. At least got himself a
been
try
going
as
all right.
well, so doing okay. Brown Moses doing their bits. Brendan Hands has been all right, but yeah, the second row too. Sorry, Kelma Tuolagi. He's been good.
Mm,
He's been good, like
yeah.
surprisingly very good since he's made that switch there starting. So I said a few weeks ago, I think it was the Wednesday show, that I thought he was a liability. And to be fair, he had been. So yeah, he's definitely turned that around. Even as a buy, I don't know if you love the risky game, he's still dirt cheap. Definitely won't be for much longer. But I think if I was going to choose anyone, and I don't know, budget wasn't too much of an issue. Bryce Cartwright, even still, I think Brycey, the party's still going. So I'd 100% get Bryce Cartwright if you know what, actually, Preston's out now. Ooh, might be a little party to attend.
Good
I've
luck.
got,
You can
I've
go
got
for that. I'm avoiding at all costs. I think he's lost
you
a lot
think?
of form this year. I'm not
Uh,
impressed.
yeah, could be good. I don't know. I had him all season last year. Just gonna hold on to that. Fantastic back then. I don't know what to think from the Eels, man. I really can't. I said it too last week. I'm never tipping the Eels again. Never again. And I did it this week, and they freaking shot me in the ass. I thought, fuck.
I
I
didn't.
don't tip
I
them.
didn't.
They win. I do. They lose. Oh, it shits me. I'm never tipping the Eels again.
I'll
Especially
hold you
not.
to that.
Especially not this game. So
I'll hold you to that. First of the Sunday games, Manly versus the St. George Illawarra Dragons at Four Pines, Brookie Oval, as I like to call it. For Manly, Olaquadu has been named to start despite a calf issue. Prop Josh Aloe will miss a couple of weeks with suspension, which pushes Nathan Brown to the starting spot. Ethan Bullymore joins the bench. For the Dragons, no surprises here. No changes to the team that demolished and added the West Tigers to the list, even though the Dragons themselves are on the list. It was a great night. Everyone was getting involved. I love how everyone's starting to get around this list. So it's been going now for 2 years. It's starting to get some traction, and the amount of messages I get as soon as the team goes, I'm putting it on, guys. Don't worry, I'm not missing anything. The team is on the list. So well done, West Tigers. You are on the list, and the Dragons were very, very good on that Friday night. But what are you thinking with this game? Anyone that tickles your fancy?
Lehigh Hopewadi.
How long
Bottom
can it
dollar.
go for?
How long can it go for? Till round 18?
Worth it?
No, not really. I have to think what round it
We're
was.
past bottom dollar cheapies, aren't we now? We're done.
A little bit, yeah, especially one that's on a very, very short rope. So, look, fullback's not a position you want enough. Getting him to make 100K, 150K, I don't think it's worth it. Ruben Garrick missed about every single kick he could potentially make. Didn't score a try, almost scored a ton. What a man. What a guy.
What a year.
Yeah, definitely. Garrick can do no wrong, it seems. So, yeah, mad buy to get him. Tommy Talau, holy shit. 4 tries.
I said at the start of the year he was one that I was tempted on. Should
Yeah,
listen to
well,
myself. You
the
idiot.
start of the year, it's all right. It's only round 15. Forget the start of the year.
I feel like it's
Um,
almost over. Being a Parry fan, the season's done, so
the
I'm
season
done.
was done 2 months ago, mate. Moses broke his
True.
foot. The season was done.
Valid. Valid.
Olakawatu, I still think is actually right now Olakawatu is definitely not a buy. But in a few weeks' time, he is going to be cheap. He's going to be real cheap. He's going to get past all the Origin stuff, and I hope to get him for like 580, 600K. You know, even lower. I still think he might get lower than that. Burbo, we spoke about how good Burbo can be when you don't want to play him. 80 points, man.
I played him.
I played him as well. I didn't really have much of a choice around that, but he killed it. So very happy with that. Yeah, no, outside of that, there's not really too many other players you kind of want to get on. They're all sort of going to Origin at the moment. But speaking of players that are going to Origin at the moment, Zach Lomax. What a freaking couple days he's had.
Oh,
Just
if I was a chick, I'd be straight in the DMs. I would be just going, Zach, what are you doing tonight?
yeah.
Let's catch up.
I've got some balls to put down. So oh Zach.
Tonight we're loose. Oh,
Yeah, a
sorry,
little
guys.
bit. Would you buy Zach Lomax in this week? Knowing you don't get him next week? But look, he backed up after 2 days, man. I don't think that's a problem. I think if you can just ride out 16 and 19, you've got a keeper for the season.
I feel like I'm going to wait until the Origin period's over with Zach. As much as I'm not going to go off at anyone that's bringing him in this week. I totally understand it, and I'm scared shitless still not having him. But I think now with a couple of games, there's a risk of not having him for a short term. I think I'm just going to stay for now, be patient, and hopefully be able to get him round 20 and hopefully a run home where the Dragons are trying to fight for remarkably a top 8 spot.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Hey, they are up there for it. So, look, their best players coming back from Origin, braining it as good as they did on such a short turnaround, such an impressive feat, honestly. And for the Dragons of all teams too, they don't really seem to have that kind of dog about them. So, Yeah, look, man, he's 730. I don't know if we'll see him much cheaper than this again. I think it'll be one of those things you buy him in and you're buying him at a full premium, but he'll be 850 in a matter of weeks,
Mm,
and then you're kind of just hoping, really, because like from round 18, they play the Roosters, the Broncos, Panthers, and Melbourne. That is a horrible stretch of games.
yeah.
So like you get
Maybe I'm
into
just
this
not going to
week.
go him. Maybe I'm just going to say well done to everyone that has been on him. I
Yeah, I
just
don't know. I still feel like he might be a buy. Again, it's a long way down the line, but round 23 against the Dogs, like the Dogs aren't letting in any points to anyone, so even that could be a hard game. Yeah, it's almost like there's not too many opportunities left for Lomax, but again, he's been killing it to every team he's played this year. He's
there's
almost
someone
fixture
I'm a
proof.
bit more tempted on, and we're going to speak about him in the next game, and he might be an option for me in the back half of the year.
Hmm.
He's a tackle breaking machine,
Is his name
and
Brian?
rhymes with Poto.
I'm lost. You've got me on that one.
Guess it if you can, guys. If you're still on this podcast, remarkably, thank you. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the. Don't touch the dials. Don't touch the sets. Just hit the subscribe button on either your podcast or how you're watching, because it's been a great one. I think we're just delirious. It's been a massive
A little
couple of
bit.
days.
Yeah, kind of lost it. I'm guessing we're going straight into this next game. Because,
Yeah,
sorry, with the
let's
Dragon, not too many else, to be honest with you. I only really fancy Lomax out of that side. And yeah, that was my piece on him. But Knights and Panthers.
Knights and Panthers, McDonald Jones Stadium, the Sunday game, the last game of the round for us. You've only got us for another 5 or 10 minutes, guys. Don't worry. For the Newcastle Knights, Fletcher Sharp has kept that fullback spot, so it seems like David Armstrong days are done. And if you read the reports, and apparently they've been pretty much confirmed now, he's getting shopped off to, I think it's Super League. Looks to have a deal. He's
Mhm.
asked for a release. I'm predicting within the next 24 to 48 hours. Provided there's no hiccups with KP, he'll be granted that, and off he goes. But by all reports, their biggest rap is on Fletcher Sharp. They think he's the next best thing. And be interesting what happens over the next 12 months with him and KP both wanting that fullback jersey. Star center Bradman Best is back, though, just in time for Origin. So everyone's talking about Latrell. I've got no doubt in my mind Bradman Best against probably the premiership favourites at the moment will want to come out and have a really good game, put his best foot forward. He was the incumbent for the jersey, missed out through injury game one, and I think everyone is fair to admit he looked like he belonged on that stage last year. So if he has a big game, he could be a smoky for that center spot as well.
Mhm.
Um, that's about it for the Newcastle Knights. For the Penrith Panthers, Dylan Edwards has been named, so that's great for myself, who has kept hold of Dylan Edwards. So love to see that. You're off him, aren't you, Jesse? You went off.
Yeah, I don't have
Yeah,
Edwards
well,
anymore.
unlucky, bro.
I know. That
Liam
kind of hurt.
Martin has been named in their reserves, but will have a week to try and prove his fitness after missing the game on the weekend. So, what are your thoughts on this one?
So yeah, Fletcher Sharp keeps the spot. I don't think he's a buy now, obviously. Armstrong was, considering how long ago we got to use him, but Pong is not too far away. Maybe a month, not long enough for Sharp to do enough with, really, but looks pretty good. They're good enough for one game to decide Armstrong's going to pack his whole career up in the NRL and go to the Super League. So um, I'm sure we'll see him
Crazy.
back again. Ugh, why would you? Just wait it out. Anyway, his decision. Can't tell him. I'm not his dad. Yeah, Tyson Frizell starts again. Fraley's back starting again. Who knows? There's a amount of chops and change that happens right before kickoff. You can't really lock anything in. But um, yeah, look, I would probably back Bradman Best to have a solid performance as well. I think he's going to want that spot back, knowing it's vacant now. So could be really good for it. But it's obviously the trickiest team to play against. So if he can pull it on anything off against the Panthers, Obviously, he looks the goods for an Origin stage. So, but yeah, for Penrith, Dylan Edwards is back. I had no doubt he would be, really. Does hurt to not own him, but he has to walk back into that side game too. So, yeah, you get him this week, you lose him next week, probably the week after as well. But, if you've held him like by now, I think you just ride him out for the rest of the year if you can, because
That was the
he
plan.
looks, yeah, he looks good. So keep doing that. Paul Alamotti's chipping away. He's going to keep that spot down. He's sort of priced out, same as Jack Cole, but Jack Cole looks good. To be fair, Luai looks really comfortable in the 7 as well. So, freaking hell, man, Penrith can't seem to get it wrong, I guess, when it comes to picking players, unless your name's Brad Schneider. He had a shocker, but they did rush him in quite early. But no, they've got a good thing running. Brian Toto with a hat trick as well. So, taking a little while for him to sort of get his stride, though. Usually,
Yeah,
he's a bit better by now, but I don't think there's much doubt around him.
he's on my radar in a couple of weeks' time. I just think
Yeah,
he's done it before. I think the Penrith Panthers will run home. Nathan Cleary back on deck. They'll have a point to prove. It's getting to the business end of the season. We all know that they turn up.
yeah.
I
It's
still
gonna
think
leave.
they'll win the comp at the moment. Just the way things are going for them, that they're
Mm,
looking quite good. So
yep.
I think Toe might be on the end of a fair few tries, and he just looks impossible to tackle most of the
Yeah.
time. I'd hate to verse him.
Just astronomical amount of tackle busts out of him. Yeah,
Yeah,
like business end Panthers are a different beast, really, aren't they? So, like they're going to want to get a bit of form going into the finals. So I think this is the right time. So yeah, mad shout. And I don't know actually how expensive he is. I don't feel like he's ever actually been able to dip very far, because he always just does enough when it matters to keep his price quite high, and then he'll have a few bad ones, and then he'll just
yeah,
pop it right back up again. So, um, yeah, outside of him, Liam Henry, far out. He just he just keeps going as well. Just keeps getting freaking tries too. So he's obviously back to the bench now. So he's had his little run, with the 80-minute starting edge role. Good shout for the last 2 weeks, but even still, points per minute's great. If he gets 30, 40 minutes, he'll still score you 50 plus. So,
yeah,
yeah, maybe just a little too late on him for a cash point of view. But again, like the Panthers don't play the buy rounds either, so it's a bit tricky trying to plan around them right now unless you can cover them. But if you've got them, maybe just hold out. So yeah, like yourself with Edwards, I might
yep.
buy him back. Might get him back in a
Welcome
few
back.
weeks.
Welcome
Yeah,
back.
can't say can't stay away from the big guns for too long.
I just hope there's no injuries for game 2 and Tedesco was there and then he gets caught in late once again. But you can't predict these things. This is the great thing of rugby league and state of origin. But I don't have anything else to add to it. I think we've done a pretty good job covering things. It got a bit loose at times. It was a good fun one. Let us know in the comments how you like this one. I think it will go down in history as one of the all-time greats. Tradie show will be back, so I hope you got your trades ready to go. It's been 2 weeks now since we've done it, so you should have some trades lined up for us to talk about, to go through, maybe get a couple of teams up as well, so get those through to the page when you listen to this episode. Again, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell icon for your podcast so you get notifications, and just give us a rating as well. It does go a long way of helping support the page. But Jesse, thank you. Stay warm. I know it's cold down there, a bit wet
Oh
as
yeah.
well. Hope everyone is safe in your neck of the woods. Quick shout out you want to make, or
Um. Shout outs. Shout out to my wife.
oh, I meant
Yeah.
more so the flood side of things.
Oh, thanks. Shout out to my wife for dealing with it all. To be fair,
Yes,
it took me 3.5 hours to get home the other night. Had to detour from Bateman's through to Goulburn, Maroolin, and head down the mountain. And she was having about 400 panic attacks the whole afternoon, telling me to stop, stay somewhere else, and I didn't. I powered through a couple of floodwaters, and
crazy rain,
oh, it
crazy.
was ridiculous, man. It was absolutely freaking out of control. But yeah, I suppose it's just the south coast, really. Can't seem to get away from it. But yeah, right now it's not raining, so I'll take it. But it's freaking cold. But yeah, no, anyone
Stay
that copped
warm.
it, sort yourself. Really, it's. I think we've gotten past the worst of it now, hopefully, for a while. But I said that about 6 weeks ago, and we copped it then too. So yeah,
Stay
just a
safe,
rough go.
guys. That's the
That's
main
it.
important part here. So,
Definitely.
had a good fun potty. Hopefully, if someone is going through anything out there, hopefully it's taking your mind off things. And but yeah, stay safe, guys. We'll catch you for the Wednesday live show. That'll be back on deck tomorrow night, 8:30. We will see you all then.